Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of this newsletter is going to be Become Her Lover, Not Her Friend. Unless, of course, you want a really fucking awful case of blue balls, which is what this particular viewer is on the verge of getting with this woman he's interacting with. He says, "Hey Corey, great videos, and I appreciate all the help that you're giving so I can master myself." He says, "This is half a question and half a testimony as to how effective your techniques are. By the way, I had seen your videos only after the following events. I didn't know someone actually taught these." He says, "A little history. During this particular girl, her husband's battle with cancer, I made sure to be there for her because I did genuinely care about what she was going through." Sounds like you're bullshitting yourself a little bit. Guys take this approach a lot. I used to do it when I was younger. You don't have the guts to really go out of your way and ask for what you really want. And here, this chick's got a husband who's obviously dying of cancer. And you're thinking, hey, I'll be the friend throughout this ordeal. And then once he's safely in the ground or in the urn, then I can make my move and she'll be all mine. So he says, a few weeks after her husband died, she invited me to hang out at an art walk with her mom who had come from out of town. We talked all night, and after that I started flirting with her at work, and she responded well. After a while I eased back and I left her alone since she was still grieving her loss. Later on, she invited me to spend Thanksgiving with her and her family. It went well, and I continued flirting with her at work, and she now smiles and blushes when I do. I'd say just enough to let her know I notice her. Make a date and make a move, dude. Hang out, have fun, and hook up. Even though her husband has died, she's still a woman, and she still wants to have a good time. And at the end of the day, women are emotional beings. So instead of being around this girl and always talking about her husband and what she lost and what she's missed out on, which obviously is going to bring up negative emotions and negative feelings, be a guy who is a constant source of fun and excitement. You can say things like, that's why instead of you sitting at home feeling sorry for yourself, you need to come out with me and have a good time because, hey, at the end of the day, we could both get hit by a bus tomorrow, so we might as well enjoy our lives because you just never know when your time is up. And I want to focus on having a good time and having some fun, and it's not going to do you any good to sit at home and feel sorry for yourself when there's a whole world to be experienced out there. So let's get our asses out there and go do this. When are you free to get together? And then make plans with her. The problem is you're so worried about offending this girl or upsetting her that you completely put your needs and your desires in the back seat and instead are trying to be what you think or what society is conditioning you to believe that you need to be, which is a guy who's trying to prove himself as her friend and a suitable mate without making any kind of romantic move. And what's going to happen is you keep doing this and she keeps putting you in friend zone like this or doing friendship kind of things. Next thing you're going to know is out of the blue, she's sleeping with some other guy and she's going to be gushing about it and go, oh my God, it just kind of happened. Well, it could have just kind of happened with you, but instead you're trying to be Mr. Nice Guy approach and being the friend, and you're not going to get anywhere with this approach other than being stuck in friend zone with a bad case of blue balls. So he says, then she called me one night to invite me to dinner at a restaurant I frequent because she remembered that I had suggested I take her there about 1 month previously. But she also said that her dad, whom she takes care of, wanted to come. You notice how she's always got a family member or somebody else along there with you. It's never one-on-one with just the two of you. And that tells me that she's using her friends and her family members and these other people to make sure you understand that it's just strictly a friendship thing going on and it's not an actual date with the two of you. I'd say you're probably conveniently ignoring that, which a lot of guys do. It's like they see what they want to see. Kind of like with the weapons of mass destruction in Iraq, I don't look at the politicians as that they deceived us and they lied to us and they purposely deceived us. I think they bullshitted themselves just like all the rest of us do. And they saw what they wanted to see in that intelligence because they were convinced that Saddam Hussein was a bad guy. And when all was said and done, 6 months, a year later after the invasion, they're like, oh, well, there's no weapons here. Well, it's got to be there. And then eventually they admitted, well, the world's better off without this guy. I mean, how fucking embarrassing. It's fucking pathetic. Everybody bullshits themselves, including the most powerful man in the world. So he says, that also went well. He says, a few days later, I asked her if she had time to go back to the upcoming art walk. I brought it up only once, and then she texted me the night of the event saying that her dad wanted to get out, so the three of us met there and talked all night. Again, she's constantly doing things, and there's always somebody else there, so you don't get the wrong impression that it's a date. He says, by the way, I make sure I only do 10% or less of the talking. I mostly listen and ask with follow-up questions. Yeah, you're becoming her therapist and the shoulder that she cries on. You're basically become her male girlfriend. He says, I try to make her the subject matter whenever possible. He says, I made some surprise plans to spend time with her in a couple of months at a ball game, and she accepted. Why so far off in the future, dude? He says, at an office Christmas lunch, she gave 2 coworkers a t-shirt and a toy figurine. What she gave me was a hand-drawn, handwritten, self-framed art piece that tells a story of a superhero who saves the Earth. He says, me, basically. It blew me away how much work she put into all that. Again, this is all friendship kind of stuff that I'm seeing. I'm not seeing any kind of romance or romantic intentions here on her part. He says, and while at the table, even though she was talking to other people, she would constantly lock eyes with me, which actually freaked me out because she had never done it before. And that's when you say, I think you just need to get it over with and kiss me instead of looking at me with that kind of desire in your eyes and not acting upon it. You say stuff like that. That communicates that it is not friendship, it's romance, at least in your eyes. But just like you said, you're shocked and you probably freaked out about it and know how to deal with it. He says, we also never discuss what we'd done together at work, like an unspoken rule to never let anyone else know we were out together. He's not really sure how to interpret that. Did I mention that she's my boss? Well, it sounds like you're in friend zone, dude. You've become her male girlfriend, so congratulations. He says, my question is how to let a recent widow of 3 months know that I'm interested in being more than friends with her. Since I do value our friendship, I don't want to come off as sounding like an insensitive pig. Well, if she's reaching out to you, you just say, hey, why don't we get together and meet up for a drink sometime this week? And she says, oh, I'm going to bring my mother, or I'm going to bring my father, or I'm going to bring my sister, or my uncle, or my Uncle Bob who's got a wooden leg, or like whatever the fuck it happens to be. Just say, no, let's you and I go out for a change. Let's just you and I go out and have some fun together. And say, when are you free to do that? And make plans with her, and then say, great, I'll pick you up in such time, and then you can take her out, and you can go do something fun together, something where you can interact, like something that's fun, like shoot some pool or throw some darts, go do something like that, or bowling, where you can interact with one another. That way you can observe as she's putting herself in your orbit, meaning, like, say you're bowling together, and you're hanging out, you're joking and laughing, and you're standing up and you're walking around, obviously, because you got to go to the bowling lane, you got to pick up the ball, you got to throw, then you go and sit down. You can make fun of each other, you can tease each other, and then you can see how close she comes to you, because she comes over and she stands closer, she puts her hand on your arm, or she stands too close to the point where she's literally bumping into you. That's when you can put your arm around on the small of her back and just look at her and just say, I think you just need to get it over with and kiss me right now. And then just look right at her lips and go in and go for the kiss. If she's standing close to you and touching your arm and she's twirling her hair around her fingers, that's the invitation. She's ready to be kissed in that moment. If you're looking at her lips and into her eyes and down at her lips and then into her eyes as she's casually talking, and if she looks at your lips anytime while you're doing that, it means that she's thinking about kissing your lips too, and that's when you need to be the man and go in and go for the kiss. Stop all these fucking bullshit friendship dates, because you're not going to get anywhere except a really bad case of blue balls here. And plus, she's your boss at work, and so that could create an awkward situation. So only do things that are things that you and her can do. And so next time she reaches out to you, invite her to do something together, like a dinner, or I would suggest do something fun, like I said earlier, about like going to a bowling alley or darts or something where you can, or miniature golf, or something where you can interact with one another. Because if she really likes you and she has romantic feelings for you, she's going to stand extra close to you, to the point where she's literally bumping into you, or she's going to be touching your arm, she'll be playing with her hair. And when you see that, that's when you need to make the move. And if you guys start making out in the bowling alley, then you can simply say, hey, why don't we grab a bottle of wine and go back to my place? And if you're making out in the bowling alley and being all touchy-feely, 9 times out of 10, she's going to say, hey, that sounds like a great idea. Then you take her back to your place, continue kissing, which leads to heavy petting. Then next thing you know, you're in the bedroom and you got her legs in the bugs, which if you don't know what the bugs is, it's basically where her feet are like behind her head, and so it kind of looks like, she looks like Bugs Bunny. That's what I would do if I were you. But this way that you're going about things, like, oh, she's a widow, blah, 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 I'm afraid not. I mean, she's still a woman. And I'm sure she would love more than anything to go out with a dude, have a great time with a guy she's attracted to, a guy who knows what to do, and a guy who seduces her and gives her a great night of fun. Because she's had plenty of time to suffer and watch someone that she loved and cared about slowly wither away and die. And at the end of the day, all women want to be in a love story. And you can create your own love story by doing that. The way you're going about it, dude, it's all wrong. You're becoming, if you're not already, her male girlfriend. And it's just a bad way to go. So if you have a question you want to ask me, go to my website, click the Contact Me tab, which will be on the left-hand side of your screen, and send me 1 to 2 paragraphs max. And just give me several weeks to get back to you with a response. If you want to talk to me right away, the quickest way to get my help is to book a paid phone coaching session. You can do that by going to my website, click the Products tab, which will be at the top of your screen, and just follow the instructions. And if you want to get a digital version of my Kindle ebook, on my website, underneath the email sign-up box, is a box that has a link that'll take you right to the Amazon Kindle download page for my book. Once you get there, if you don't have a Kindle device, just download one of their free e-reader apps for whatever electronic device you want to read my book on. And if you appreciate the value of the information I offer in these video newsletters, the articles on my website, or my ebook, you can show your appreciation right now by going to my website, and on the Wibbia toolbar at the bottom of your screen, click the PayPal donate button and donate any amount that you feel is equal to the value of the information. And I will talk to you soon.